Rant Radio Network. You're listening to Real Estate Rant with your host, Alex Alanis,
and your co-host, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez.
No problems, just solutions for real estate needs, hot topics, and controversial chat. And we are back here at the hot Rant Radio Network here at the Towers.
At the new studios of the Mucho Macho Michelada studios, huh?
Mucho Macho Michelada. And
is
it possible to get a picture of that, Mr. Alonso?
On this new Wino Wednesday, we're gonna call it today.
Wino Wednesday, right on.
We're gonna get
hold up your cup, my friend.
The privilege of being here at the studios of the Macho Michelada.
And I will help you out there. It's Mucho Macho Michelada.
Mucho Macho Michelada.
Yeah, it's right
there
here
we go.
At the Towers of the Rant Radio Network. I'm your host, Mr. Alex Alanis, and to my left here, my broker, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez. In studio today on this hot July afternoon, we have Mr. Zeferino Luna, otherwise known as Z. We will call him Z for the rest of the show. Give us a call, 855-693-4897.
Welcome, Mr. Z.
Mr. Pantalones, so we got him on there? Okay, thank you, sir. AGR and Associates and the Real Estate Rant are proud supporters of Michael Aguilar and Associates, Stroke Awareness. You can reach Michael Aguilar at www.strokeawareness101.com. That's strokeawareness101.com. Or Michael P. Aguilar at hotmail.com. You can email him. Mr. Aguilar had a stroke a few years back and decided to take on the stroke awareness arena. And Mike goes around giving talks about what to do not to have a stroke. Very, very good speaker, Mr. Michael Aguilar. Thank you for joining the show, Mike, and also for looking out for us on the stroke side.
Oh yeah, being in real estate, we can acquire much stress, and that can lead to a stroke and a heart attack. So
yeah, we can relate to all that.
Yeah,
right?
so we're glad to have Michael here to lecture us and give us some how do you say, some good advice.
Yeah. Mike was on the show probably about a month and a half ago, and it was a good show. You can actually watch that show on YouTube. I want to say it was the middle of June. They're all dated. You can also win a $25 gift card from Steven's Steakhouse, located in the City of Commerce, compliments of Carlos Cruz and the Pico Rivera Chamber of Commerce, or a $200 teeth whitening from Gardens Dental at 7218 Garfield Avenue in the City of Bug Gardens. Mr. Wallace Gonzalez also gave us a $25 gift card from Solar City. You can reach him at 626-483-5749, and that's a $25 gift card to Lazy
Dogs.
Lazy
Dogs.
Lazy Boy? No,
Lazy Dog.
Lazy Dog Restaurant? Yeah. I've never eaten there, but
Dollar makes me holler, honey, boo boo.
Right on.
Well, that's just because you wanna drag on those cards. They were my cards, Alex. I would have already been eating over there.
I would love to taste you.
Anyway, make a long story short, you can win one of those $25 gift cards or a $200 teeth whitening. If you happen to have a question for myself, Alonso, or for Z about
that's terribly sexy,
the subject of the show, give us a call, 855-693-4897. The operators are on standby to answer your calls.
Don't everybody call at once. We don't want our phone bill to go up a skyrocket.
Yes. Let's do the design deal, Mr. Pantalones, if you will. If you happen to give us a call and get this particular design, we'll give you a $25 gift card, but you got to call in. And actually, those were last week's, but let's see what we can do. Questions and answers, Mr. Alonso, every week. Excuse me. You can email us at realestaterantradio@gmail.com. And if you happen to get that particular email, it's realestaterantradio@gmail.com. If you happen to have a question and email us, we'll try and answer it on the show. Mr. Alonso usually takes care of that. What do we got this week, sir?
Well, today's question comes out of Glendora from Mina, and it's kind of says her question is, a prospective buyer obtains a home inspection report which contains several previous non-disclosed material issues. The seller decides not to make repairs or reduce the selling price, so the deal falls apart. Her question is the seller or practitioner, which is a listing agent, now obligated to disclose the material issues to each subsequent prospective buyer?
I believe that. Well, are you going to take that one?
Well, that's absolutely yes. I mean, now it's now they know about, they're aware about it. So, in my opinion, yes, they need to disclose any material issues that are going to be affecting the property.
Well, let's discuss first who Who is their agent? The buyer's agent, or the listing agent?
The listing agent.
The listing agent is the buyer's agent as well. So it's
No,
dual.
no.
dual
Well,
agency.
it doesn't matter if it's the buyer's agent or the listing agent.
Well-
The listing agent must disclose. The seller must disclose, because now it's her question reads, as I understood it, was that now that since her deal fall apart because he wasn't willing to fix any damages found on the property. So now, if a new buyer, if that house continues to be listed on the market and a new buyer now is gonna buy it, is he obligated to disclose to those buyers of something that he is now knowledgeable about, or has some side of how can I say, knowledge that exists?
Yeah, I would shut up. I would say yeah. I would say
Yeah, well, that's
that person is the seller is now obligated, because yes, they are aware of that, and because it was previously disclosed. But the reason I asked about who's their agent is because how would a new buyer coming in know that?
Well,
with a different agent.
well, it has to be disclosed regardless of the selling. The sellers now have to disclose it.
So was that the question?
That's the question. Does he have to disclose any material fact that the previous home inspector did on a previous buyer that didn't go through?
I don't see why not, but I got a feeling some attorney's going to sit there and say,
Oh no, I mean, I absolutely, but I
what do you
absolutely,
think, Z, about that?
I absolutely think they must disclose. They know, they're aware of it now.
Yeah,
Alex,
I
so-
agree. I'm, don't put up their dukes or nothing, right? I mean, just take it easy.
I mean, I have seen agents and sellers get sued from failure to disclose things that they're aware of. So like they
Absolutely.
say in real estate, it's all of disclosure, disclosure, disclosure. You want to make sure you disclose everything that you're aware of.
I thought it was location.
Oh, it's location, 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 and disclosure, disclosure, disclosures also.
Triple D. Right on. So yeah, I would say. I mean, I would agree with you, Alonso, on that one. I definitely believe wholeheartedly as a real estate professional that all sellers should disclose, and that's.
I mean, I could understand if they weren't aware of or something, and when they did their transfer disclosure statement, they were just to their knowledge,
Did
But
she
now
say
it's
what
not
it
an
was?
excuse,
Did she say what it was?
Actually, she did say what it was. It said it was, by the way, that says the seller and agent lost my recommendation for structure or safety findings needed to be addressed. So it was something structural.
Oh yeah. Well,
So it must have been a foundation problem or something that was a material issue. It had
yeah.
had to be disclosed.
And does a seller want to say that stuff?
Well, you of course you don't want to say it, but you have to say it now
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you're aware of it.
I mean, if I was a listing agent, I definitely
And
would.
that's what's important for home buyers to pay that home inspection.
Yes,
Pay
yes.
that home inspection and find out what you're getting into it. And then that's going to be a consequence whether they want to continue with the offer, if they don't want to do the fixing. Because now you're going to budget yourself and you're going to know what you're looking when you're getting into something.
Yeah, well, this is where we need to appeal to the real estate gods, right? Doesn't it make sense, just looking at this question, that the seller should be doing the inspection on the property?
Well, I mean,
I understand the whole caveat emptor, buyer beware, right? But what I'm talking about is let's talk to the real estate guys and say, look, guys, if the seller is supposed to disclose this stuff, why not get this inspection done?
Correct.
And have that real estate.
And that's what sellers and that's what sellers have to realize, that they're going to have to deal with the problem with it sooner or later. So might as well deal with it sooner than later.
Yeah, yeah. So let us pray. No, I'm just messing around. Give us a call, 855-693-4897. Mr. Pantalones, did we ever get the design deal, the right one? That the one you had up was for next week. Oh, thank you, sir. Look at that. See, I love my engineer.
If we
man. I
have
love
time,
that
we
guy.
have time for another question. I got another question.
Oh, right on. Let's do questions and answers.
this
Thank you,
one,
sir.
This one comes out of Carmen, out of Bellflower, and it reads, can I refuse to let an agent in my home? I'm currently renting, and it's currently listed for sale. So her answer is, can she refuse to let an agent in?
Is that the same person?
No, it's a different one. This is Carmen from Bellflower. The other one, I believe, was Mina from Glendora.
And is she's selling the property?
Well, I guess she's renting the property, and some agent showed up at her door with no appointment, and
Yeah, no.
and now she wants to know if she needs to let him in or not.
Too bad Paulina's not here with us to answer that question. But I would say, well, it's twofold. Okay, the first thing is that there's the tenant laws, You have a 24-hour requirement for notifying the tenant that you're going to enter the property. The agent walking up to the door, I would venture to say that the listing probably says on the agent remarks that, 24-hour notice, appointment only type of thing, and the agent just disregarded it.
Yeah.
Does the tenant have to let that person in? Absolutely not.
Yeah, that's of course. You can refuse to let, and I mean, whether you're renting or you own it, you can refuse to let anyone into your home. And like I said, I mean, a smart agent would make accommodations for the owner or the tenant, to call before.
You
And
mentioned something though, Alonso. You mentioned something. Okay, when you said owner, if a seller signs a listing agreement, it actually says, just depending on the terms and conditions of what the seller and the agent have agreed to, the owner actually does have to let somebody in if that's what was agreed to. Now, a tenant is different. A tenant is not making that agreement with anybody.
well, I believe if you're the owner, you can refuse whether you. Yeah, I mean,
Well, I
it's
mean,
to your advantage if you want someone to view your home, but.
Well,
I mean, if you're the owner, you can refuse that.
If you have a signed contract,
I don't care if I have a
don't
signed
know.
contract or not. If I'm the owner and I don't want no one in my property, then they're not going in until I say it's okay.
So why would you? Well, but that's the whole idea, is that you've agreed with your agent. It's like some people say they want 3-hour notice. Some people say they want 24-hour notice. It says that usually.
Well,
on the
and
agent
that's
remarks.
another thing. That's why it should be specified on the listing agreement. When your open house should be, what times you should go. You can go view the property. So
yeah.
all that like I said, you have to make prior accommodations for everybody living in the premises.
No, I absolutely agree. I'm simply stating that on the listing agreement, there are certain things, responsibilities and obligations and duties of the seller, and it says it there, and the broker's responsibility. Those are typically things you want to talk with your client about if you're taking a listing. What is your tolerance? But to say absolutely no, I'm not letting anybody in the property,
Well, I mean,
as a seller,
I think
why are you signing a listing agreement?
I think what happened here is that an agent showed up without an appointment, and it was.
So that's a tenant.
So that's what I think, that and whether even if it was an owner occupied and they don't have an appointment, and I told specifically my agent,
Yeah.
I only want people viewing my home from this time to this time.
Yeah.
On these days,
I mean, I get those comments on the MLS all the time.
We'll be right back. Hold that. Don't touch that mouse.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with some more Real Estate Rant.
Real Estate Rant and AGR Realtors are proud supporters of Michael Aguilar and Associates, advocates for stroke awareness and integrative healthcare.
In February 2012, I suffered a stroke due to high blood pressure. I was rushed to the hospital where I was admitted for the next 30 days. I was initially told I may have to stay in the hospital for about 3 months, but I made rapid improvements in my recuperation and continued to improve to this day.
When Michael left the hospital, he did not have insurance to cover his rehabilitation, so he focused on integrative healthcare to get better. At the end of 2013, seeing a need for stroke awareness, Michael started his own company, Michael Aguilar and Associates, to focus on creating awareness about the dangers of high blood pressure and stroke.
If you would like more information, please call me at 562-464-7297, or you can visit my website at www.strokeawareness101.com.
Michael Aguilar and Associates, creating awareness and saving lives one person at a time.
Do we have your attention? When it comes to tequila, 2 things matter: heart and passion.
Never compromising integrity for mass production.
Number 1 tequila delivers the goods. Taste the heart and passion of Mexico in every bottle. We make it right. We make it fun. Superior tequila. There's only number 1. There's only number 1. There's only number 1.
Been in an accident? Then you need your vehicle professionally repaired. That's exactly what you get when you bring your vehicle to Greg's Auto Body Repair. We quotes within minutes. We will provide everything you need for a hassle-free auto body repair, from an accurate estimate to working with your insurance company. We will get your vehicle to its pre-accident condition as soon as possible. Greg's Auto Body has been serving Los Angeles County and local cities since 1970. Call us at 562-789-1300.
A home is the biggest investment in most people's lives. Buying or selling should be a positive experience.
Whether you want to be a wealthy real estate investor or just trying to find a place to call home, at AJR & Associates, we focus on the client's needs.
We understand the market better than most. Let us bring the value to you and make the right choice.
AJR & Associates, making your dream house a reality. Call us today for a free consultation at 562-882-1976. Or you can log on to www.hrrealtors.com.
With a track record of great results, bringing knowledge, wisdom, and expertise to you. Hablamos español.
Live from the Rant Radio Network,
You're listening to Real Estate Rant with your host, Alex Alanis,
And your co-host, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez.
no problems, just solutions for real estate needs, hot topics, and controversial chat. And we are back here on a hot day of July at the Real Estate Rant here at the towers of the Rant Radio Network.
At the new Mucho Lada. What?
dude.
That's like a tongue twister.
It
Mucho
really-
Macho Michelada.
It really is. It really is a tongue twister. I had to say it like 4 or 5 times before I really got
Dude,
it.
that's saying it sober. I imagine when I'm drunk trying to say that.
Hey, show me some respect, boy.
Yeah,
Mucho
exactly.
Macho Michelada. man.
I call it triple M, you know, just to make it
3
easy.
M's.
I'm your host, Mr. Alex Alanis. To my left here, I have my broker, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez. And in studio today on this hot July afternoon, we have Mr. Zeffirino Luna, otherwise known as Z with U.S. Protection Network. Hello there, sir. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us. We have an interesting conversation coming up on the show today on the Real Estate Rant. Give us a call, 855-693-4897. If you happen to call that number, you can win one of those $25 gift cards or a $200 teeth whitening to Gardens Dental. You know, as many people have asked me, who you having on the show this week? And I said, well, Z's coming on the show with U.S. Protection Network. And they would say, what is that? And I'll be quite frank, I didn't know how to answer him because I'm like, I don't really know. I know what he does, but I don't know what to call him. Right?
Right.
So what would you call yourself?
Well, I mean, I don't really have a title either. I just solve a lot of people's problems that they have.
So problem solver.
Correct.
Well, one of the mottos on the show is no problems, just solutions. That's what we do, right? That's what we do, other than ensuring the public trust. But
Kind of like what's that lady's name? Pope. Do you guys ever watch that Scandals on Netflix?
uh,
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Is it Shannon Pope? I don't
You
know.
never
I don't
watched
know.
Scandals? She's
No, I don't think I
a
did.
problem solver. She covers up all the government scandals,
Oh yeah.
and she has a group of people that solve just the problems. They do all the cover ups for the top authorities.
Well, I uncover. That's what I
Penelope
do.
Pope, I believe her name is.
And we are going to be drinking alcoholic beverages here on the show today.
Oh, thanks to the new
just to kind of
break in the studio and
thank you, Art, today. And actually, we are breaking in the Mucho Macho Michelada campaign that we are running here in the studio. And the gentlemen from Three Guys Rant, they are heading that campaign. And so we'd like to thank them for allowing us to show the product. And if you guys
not only
through the
to
blessings.
show their product, but I mean for letting us here on their station and giving us an hour of putting up with our crap. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, put up with the boring stuff, right? So, short introduction about yourself, Z.
Well,
And feel free to pour the beer at
oh,
any time.
thank
Yeah.
you. I mean, when I was 17, I opened my first business, and I got a network degree. I did networks for companies. The first big company I did was Spearman Rhino in Gardena.
So you
I-
like to party? That was
That was in the beginning. So, so I built networks for them. That's what I did for a while. Then I got introduced to the mortgage business.
the Spearmint. You mean the Spearmint Rhino Club? Is that like a strip club?
It's a strip club.
Oh,
I
wow.
never been in there. I just did the
I gotta
wiring.
talk to you after. Talk to you after the show.
So after I did that, I actually met a broker who taught me a little bit about real estate.
Yeah,
And
I could see that they were constantly there back then in the
Yes.
in those days. You know,
Well, when
big
you say
money
you're
was being
17,
around.
when was that?
I was 17. Right now I'm 31. So it was
was what about
11 or 12 years ago?
11, 12 years ago.
Okay,
Correct.
right on.
the market was good back then.
Correct.
and
It
I
was really
remember everybody was at those places.
Yeah, just spewing the money, huh? The money was just dripping.
Correct. So then I acquire a CFL license, a California Finance Lender license, and the license what it allows you to do it as long as your corporation has a license, you actually could all your employees have that same license, and they could run up loans, do loans. They cannot do real estate, but they could do loans. They don't fall under the DRE.
Is that still effective today now with
It's
the new NMLS licensing that
well,
requirements?
I heard that now is actually harder. Before it was just a bond and an application, and then you paid a couple $1,000s to get it. Now I heard it's a little bit harder because now the DRE got involved. And before it was only the DLC that used to regulate that.
Yeah.
Now the DRE got involved
Yeah,
also.
because before I remember to write up a loan, you didn't need it if you worked for a bank and you were under a
Correct.
CFL license.
Correct.
But I believe now it's different. Correct me if I'm wrong, Alex. Do you know anything about that?
It is different, and now it's almost like having a broker real estate relationship, the same as real estate, but now it falls under just a lender. So
Correct.
the lender, you kind of have, if you have your NMLS, you have to work under like a broker.
Correct.
I think it's called a
That's also NMLS certified, or has that licensing.
Spearmint Rhino. There you go.
Oh, there we go.
Right on. So okay, so you were involved in constructing that building? Is that or
No.
constructing the
Well,
business?
on Spearmint Rhino, what I did was just the wiring for the computers and their phones. That's
Oh, okay.
that's what I studied in the beginning.
I see.
So when you're talking about networking, it's telecommunication.
Correct. Not networking like nowadays.
I'm way off then because I'm thinking
No,
this
no.
guy was probably networking.
No, what happened is I was
with all the
before.
blondes in there, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I want his job.
No, before that I was a security guard.
Now I know there's a smile on his face, right?
Yeah. and my wife, my wife now, she called me, said I'm pregnant. So I said I need to do something different to give my kid a better life that I never had. So that's when I studied networking and computer networking, and that's when I got into that kind of business.
Oh, right on.
So then what happened?
So after actually I acquired this, after I just worked in networking maybe about a year or so, when I got introduced into the mortgage business, and I actually worked for a broker for about a month, and then I opened my own office, acquiring a CFI license, and I used to do wholesale lending. So I used to fund the deal and then sell it in the secondary market. And for a while there, I made a lot of money, and I was young. I didn't know how to manage it. I was 21. I was making a lot of money, helping my parents, helping my sister. And I lost everything I had because I didn't understand laws. I didn't understand certain things of business. And that's how I got into this business. When I was 21, I actually had multiple properties on co-signers that I was renting out. And one day this lady decides to come over and says, you know what, I want more money, or I'm going to call the feds and tell them that I didn't send the documents. I was 21. I didn't know nothing about law. I'm thinking they're going to come and pick me up and take me and lock me up. So I asked a friend, what should I do? Real estate friend. He said, just pay her the money, make her go away. I asked another friend. He said, don't pay her.
The real estate friend?
The
told
real
you that?
estate.
Oh,
Told me,
man.
pay her, make her go away.
No, nobody at AGR and Associates.
No.
Okay.
I sure hope not. I sure hope not.
And another friend told me, don't pay her. She's going to come back for more if you do.
Yeah.
Well, I listened to the real estate guy because it seemed like he knew what he was doing, at that moment.
He was the one with the fancy suit
Correct.
and the expensive car back then.
Correct.
He's the one that understood how she was running game, right?
Correct.
All right.
So I gave her, the money she asked for. And sooner or later, she comes back with all the co-signers, and they each wanted $50,000 now.
Oh, man.
Wow.
So-
So the house must have been a pretty expensive home. They all wanted $50,000.
Well, if this was in Texas, some people would say get a rope.
So I ended up, I ended up giving someone the money out, and then they did actually open, not a case, they just made a lot of noise. And I figured they're gonna they're gonna lock me up. So instead of facing things, like most people don't, most people, when they get a letter or whatever they get, they either they don't answer or they answer wrong. And what I did, or they hide. And what I did, I hid. And I didn't work. I got sick, and I had a stroke when I was 21 years old because of the stress I was having at that time.
At 21 years
21 years old.
My goodness.
So
Is that running the family or anything?
well, my dad lately, because of high blood pressure, he had a stroke.
I think it's just a lifestyle because I have a similar story like that. At a young age, I started making a lot of money, and it was just, you're 23 years old and you want to just, drink beer, gamble, stay up all night, and go to clubs.
Correct.
And I think that's a lot of, it does a lot of tear and wear in the body. So I think that has to do at a young age with the wear and tear on your lifestyle situation.
Well, working at the Spearmint Rhino, that's probably,
That could be
It was pretty relaxing there, actually.
pretty stressful. So wow, so these people they cause a lot of noise, muddied the
Correct.
waters. You went broke.
I went broke. I lost everything. At that time, now I have 4 kids. Now I have 5, but at that time I had 4 kids.
Damn, so you've been busy, huh?
I just had a lot of time in my hands.
He must have been really, he must have been really broke. A TV broke and everything, broken TV and everything, huh?
Yeah, dang TV, 'cause, well, I gotta go to bed now. What you can do?
Yeah. So now, we're living off a van, and we're parked in East LA, and that's where about a year and a half, 2 years, we lasted without a home. Either hotel or in the van.
And this is with the 5 kids.
This
now,
with
or 4
4
kids.
four
Oh
kids.
wow, that must have been.
But what would you say that your net worth was before all this happened?
Well, before that happened, I had about 15 properties. I had $4 million liquid in my bank account, and I had a business that was producing $180,000 a month, roughly. And I had a lot of cars that were paid off before this happened.
And they wiped you clean.
They wiped me clean. The houses, I just decided to walk away because I was afraid. They're gonna find me in that house. I just decided to walk away, except for one that nobody knew I had. But when I stopped working, I couldn't do it. And that's the last one when the sheriffs came in and actually kicked me out with my kids from the house.
Wow, that's out of control, man. I thought my situation was bad.
Oh, I thought that was my situation was bad.
I bow to you, my friend. You're a bigger man than I. Because let me tell you something. If that would have happened to me, dude, I would have probably went postal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was hard. It was hard, and I guess it just felt what was hard most. I guess most of the thing is when mentally I went down. I wasn't the same guy no more that I was before. When I said I want this house, let me get it. I want this car, let me get it. I wasn't that same person anymore.
Well, I'll tell you what. See, it took me a while to get back into real estate after the market crashed in '06. I kind of took a layoff myself, and I didn't want nothing to do with real estate. I got a different kind of job, a 9 to 5, and I was working and getting my regular paycheck. And I got a whole different lifestyle change. I actually went sober for 5 years. I didn't drink, and I thought they would change, but real estate was coming around, and a good friend came back around, and come on, let's do it. You're a broker, come on, let's do it. And here I am once again, giving it another shot.
Yeah, and you become humble at a certain point.
Correct.
You humbleize.
Correct.
And that's one of the things as real estate agents, you come like I've heard Alex say a lot of times. This business is feast or famine. And so when you're feasting, you better sure you save for a time of
Correct.
famine.
Yeah, you got to put it down there. That's for sure. We're actually coming up on a break, Z, but a very interesting story.
We have a phone call.
Oh,
I
okay,
think.
well, we have a phone call. All right. Hello there. Thank you for calling Real Estate Rant. How can we help you today? I got nothing there, Mr. Pantalones.
Can you hear me?
Here it goes. There it goes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go. Hello, come in, caller.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. What can we do for you?
I have a question.
Shoot.
Shoot off the hip.
Go ahead.
If you work at Spearmint Rhino, can you slap the girls on the ass?
I don't know that's I don't know. Do you know those rules?
No, I don't actually. When I actually was working at Spearmint Rhino doing the wiring, I was actually empty at the
slap
time.
the girls on the ass,
Everybody does.
Now I know that's not Mr. Pantalones,
but I gotta work there.
That's got to be that's got to be soda for the studio. Who's calling? Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. Well, good phone call anyway. I know that we were coming up on a break there, Mr. Pantalones. So let us know how much time we got. I just wanted to lower it a bit there.
I don't like the mic lowered, Alex.
Well,
I'm
it's 'cause
sorry.
I can't
but,
see your face.
Wow,
That's
then that's too bad. They
All
gotta
right, then-
take a picture. Lasts longer.
That's
On July 17th from 5:30 to 10 p.m. There will be food, music, coffee, tea, and guess what? We're going to be hosting our show live that night, followed by our favorite funny guy, Jamario McLean. All only for $15. But you better hurry, there's only limited seats available, so buy your tickets today.
There's only number one.
Been in an accident? Then you need your vehicle professionally repaired. That's exactly what you get when you bring your vehicle to Greg's Auto Body Repair. Free quotes within minutes. We will provide everything you need for a hassle-free auto body repair, from an accurate estimate to working with your insurance company. we will get your vehicle to its pre-accident condition as soon as possible. Greg's Auto Body has been serving Los Angeles County and local cities since 1970. Call us at 562-789-1300.
Do we have your attention? When it comes to tequila, two things matter: heart and passion.
Never compromising integrity for mass production.
Number one tequila delivers the goods. Taste the heart and passion of Mexico in every bottle. We make it right. We make it fun. Superior tequila. There's only number one. There's only number one. There's only number one.
Been in an accident? Then you need your vehicle professionally repaired. That's exactly what you get when you bring your vehicle to Greg's Auto Body Repair. Free quotes within minutes. We will provide everything you need for a hassle-free auto body repair, from an accurate estimate to working with your insurance company. We will get your vehicle to its pre-accident condition as soon as possible. Greg's Auto Body has been serving Los Angeles County and local cities since 1970. Call us at 562-789-1300.
A home is the biggest investment in most people's lives. Buying or selling should be a positive experience.
Whether you want to be a wealthy real estate investor or just trying to find a place to call home, at AJR & Associates, we focus on the client's needs.
We understand the market better than most. Let us bring the value to you.
It's one thing to own a business, it's another to promote it. That's why thousands of business owners rely on Monster Marketing Group. Design, print, mail, custom mailers, all for as little as 29 cents delivered. That includes postage. Send to a neighborhood, zip code, or an entire city. With just a simple call, 888-49-MONSTER, you can easily promote your business, sales, events, grand openings, send coupons, and much more.
Your mail delivers in as little as 5 days. No dealing with the mailing list or paperwork. Monster Marketing does all the heavy lifting. Get started now by calling 888-49-MONSTER or go to monsterng.com.
Monster Marketing Group. We deliver, we give you results, we can prove it.
Curiosity often leads to trouble. If I had a world of my own.
Hey, it's Chef Bev Lazo from the Culinary Trend Show. Join me and the crew for our first annual exclusive Mad Hatter Costume Tea Party on July 17th from 5:30 to 10 p.m. There will be food, music, coffee, tea, and guess what? We're going to be hosting our show live that night, followed by our favorite funny guy, Jamario McLean. All only for $15. But you better hurry, there's only limited seats available, so buy your tickets today at www.irantradio.com by clicking on the Mad Hatter button. So find your biggest hats and craziest costume and come join the fun.
I'm late for a very important date. No time to say hello, goodbye. I'm late.
The experts know that for pastry, Baker's Bodega has it all. Exclusive brands like Westco Bankmark, Satin Ice, and Pastry Pride. One-on-one day seminars for cake decorating and gelatin art. So for our service, wide range of ingredients and supplies, and for the low prices, Baker's Bodega has it all. But you don't need to be an expert. Baker's Bodega, 7869 Paramount Boulevard in Pico Rivera. Come, we're waiting for you.
It's hot out here. I need a drink. Have a mucho macho michelada. What's a michelada? Michelada is a Mexican Bloody Mary made with beer. All you have to do is get bucket-sized michelada, open it up, pour it in your favorite beer, and you're good.
What if you don't like beer?
You can use it in lemon lime soda, vodka with lime, or tequila with lemon lime soda.
Sounds delicious. Where do you find it?
You can find it at your favorite store, or you can go to muchomachomichelada.com.
Find us on Twitter and Facebook.
Live from the Rant Radio Network,
You're listening to Real Estate Rant with your host, Alex Alanis.
and your co-host, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez.
No problems, just solutions for real estate needs, hot topics, and controversial chat. And we are back here at the Real Estate Rant, here at the towers of the Rant Radio Network.
At the new Mucho Macho Michelada studio.
Hey, look, it's right in front of you right there, my friend.
I think I need that number. I got to call that drunk hotline now.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to need a ride home, I think.
Can you call me a cab?
I'm your host, Mr. Alex Alanis, and to my left here, my co-host, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez. And in studio today, we have Mr. Z Luna from U.S. Protection Network. You can reach him at 800-760-7405. And typically, we have a web banner put up, but for some reason, we have some technical difficulties and did not receive the information. You can win a $25 gift card to Stevens Steakhouse if you happen to give us a call at 855-693-4897, or you can win a $200 teeth whitening at Gardens Dental at 7218 Garfield Avenue in the city of Bell Gardens. A $25 gift card from Solar City from Wallace Gonzalez. You can reach him at 626-483-5749. That's 626-483-5749. That's a $25 gift card to Lazy Dog Restaurant.
Lazy Dogs.
Is it Lazy Dog or Lazy Boy? See, I can never remember that.
Lazy
I'm
Dogs.
going to have to write that down. Mr. Z, you were telling us about your story now about rags to riches. Now, I'm picturing your family now living in a van, occasionally in hotels and that kind of thing. So what happened at that point? And do we have him, Mr. Pantalones?
Well, at that point, I had to make a decision. For a while, I had lived and thought it was okay for me to live like that as long as my kids were okay and alive, which I guess was wrong of me. So one day, October 31st, we go take the kids trick-or-treating. We come back and we're in the van again. And I see all these drunk people passing by. And I say, you know what, it's not right. I have to go out there and, give them a home, give them everything they had before. So the next day, I actually put on my suit. It had holes. My briefcase that was ripped, and I actually went and closed the deal and got money. Instead of getting an apartment, I actually opened an office first. And I still didn't know what I was going to do. I still didn't. I actually did a deal for one of my friends. He's an investor. He bought a property. The property had problems. The property was actually stolen from someone else, a grand deed. So
like identity theft?
Correct.
Like that?
Somebody had granted the property from somebody that was deceased years ago. So we couldn't close title. The DRE said they couldn't do nothing about it, just prosecute the people. Attorney said you're gonna lose your money in the house, but we could prosecute and put him in jail. My guy said I didn't get in this business to lose money. I either want the property or I want the money back, because he already had released some money through escrow. So I had met this guy maybe about 2 years ago that had talked to me about what's called, business and laws. Certain laws, they apply to business that are greater than, our civil laws here. And I always thought he was crazy, because he talked something that I never heard before. But I went to him because he was the only person I thought that could help me with this case, because I already have this is the first deal I get. I open the office and I'm already going to have problems. And he actually solved the problem for me. The guy actually kept the house and didn't have to pay more money. So a house in East LA was two houses worth about $300,000. He ended up getting it for about $60,000.
Wow, that's
so
a
he
good
kept
profit
the house,
margin.
correct. So he was happy, and I got a bonus for that. And he started teaching me a lot about business and law, and that's what I needed. I knew how to make money, I knew how to manage it. I just didn't know about how to protect myself, and that's why I opened this company. And I have a lot of services, but I guess what we're here to talk right now is about our home retention program, because that's the problem that a lot of people are facing. That's what I faced, years ago when I lost my property and the sheriffs kicked me out.
So I'm looking at your business card and it says Advocates Empowered by Results.
Correct.
So we're kind of going back now to what you do.
Correct.
And so can you give us a
and the reason
idea what
and
that
the,
is?
and the reason our business card doesn't say specific what we do is because we do so many things. So advocates, I guess, we help people with their problems, but not only help them like a lot of people they do the paperwork and say, here, you're on your own. We actually give them results. We do it to the end, depending on what you're looking for. If you lost your property, trying to get it back. If you're gonna lose your property and trying to save it, we help you to give you results. That's what we do.
And I've seen a lot of these companies come up where they say they're foreclosure reversal companies, or
Correct.
that they do something. And what I understand about them is that they file a lot of frivolous lawsuits.
Correct.
And they tie up the property. So even if you're not gonna how can I say, end up saving the property, they definitely give you more time.
Correct.
I had a current friend who was in their property actually about 6 years.
Correct.
And what it was they kept on filing extensions after extensions, and keep some kind of motions.
Correct.
Until the judge got tired of it and the bank doesn't want to deal with it. Is that
correct.
similar to what you guys do? Or
No, actually, what we do, we try to get your property back to you. So let's say you lost your property today, we file paperwork. We do, and we get other presentments. Depending on what you were doing a Loma, you were doing a short sale. Depending on what happened to you, we decided we could help you or not. Once we decided we could help you, we take on the case and we actually try to get the property reversed to you. So the sale gets reversed, you get rescinded. The only thing that a lot of people, have to understand is once you get the property back, you're still in the same position you were before you lost it. You're still in foreclosure. So now you got to look out for that, which we could help you with that too, actually.
Well, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. You're in foreclosure because I've seen some cases where where they succeeded, because the people were actually saving their money, and when the bank all of a sudden required, I need 60 something thousand dollars to get it in good standing, and fortunately enough for them, they were able to acquire that
Correct.
money and pay the bank back their loan so that they can continue to live in that property.
That is correct. That is correct.
And let me ask you one thing, Z. So now once they hire your services, are they paying you on a retainer basis, on a monthly fee, or how is the client paying you?
Correct. There's two parts to it. The one part is the reversal. Another part is if they're getting evicted, they have to stop the eviction either with me or with someone else. But we need about 6 months to finish our process. So they need to buy at least 6 months if they're getting evicted. That's why we ask everybody, whenever they do our services, let's start today. You lost it today, let's start today. Let's not wait a month, because in a month, then you can start getting evicted and it gets more expensive. If you get kicked out of the property, then I can't help you anymore. So there's 2 steps.
So
We
you-
charge you for one step, which is the reversal. We charge you one flat fee for that. If you're getting evicted, either you come to us or you come somewhere else. It's step by step, depending on what they're filing.
Yeah, and my understanding is that each time you guys file, you're buying anywhere from 4 to 6 months,
Correct.
for the courts to issue a court date, and it's gonna take a while.
The thing is now, banks and attorneys are getting pretty smart, and a lot of judges are getting tired, I guess. So now, even though before you used to file on the lawful retainer, give you 4 months. Now in 2 weeks, they're already hitting you with something different. The attorney, the opposing counsel, they're hitting you with something different. Some people do BK. It should buy you 30 days, 60 days. Now they're hitting you with something in a week. So now a motion to relieve. Now you got to get out of the property. So they're getting pretty smart, and they're getting tired of actually people buying time. So they're being pretty aggressive with that eviction now.
And then another thing that I had read about regarding that is that once you sign on to them, then you also have tenant rights now, because now it's sold actually like to a third party, your home. So you're not really the owner. Have you heard
Correct.
anything like that?
Correct. And that's it depends on, some people get bank owned, which it goes back to the bank. Some people goes to third party, which is an investor that bought it, and he has to follow certain procedures to kick you out.
So-
And most of them are skipping a lot of procedures. I had a problem with one of my cases about a month ago. The judge said you cannot vacate this property because we filed what documents we need to file, but the attorney still went over there and took him out of the property on a Saturday when there was no court open. So even though he took him out with the sheriff and there was no court open, you can't really fight back. You have to still go to court again to go back in. So it's still a process. So a lot of attorneys are jumping, little things here and there and skipping steps because they know they could get away with it if you don't have the right person to protect you.
So I would love to have what was that other girl that we had from the evictions?
Paulina.
Paulina. I would have loved to see help us out with some rebuttals on here. It seems like this is one of those. How can I say it?
Well, it's a compound situation. You have the bank that's involved now. It's almost like a third party. But then you have other laws that apply in state of California in terms of tenancy.
Correct.
And actually, it revolves around just having possession of the property.
Correct. That's all it is.
Yeah. And so I'm trying to understand, how can somebody go in after they've already been foreclosed on, do the foreclosure reversal and be in exactly the same position of foreclosure just to get foreclosed on again?
Well, that's the thing. A lot of people, it has to make sense to them. I tell them you have to have,
We're coming out on the break. Don't touch that mouse.
Hold your thought on that.
Hold your thought.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with some more real estate rant.
Looking for a delicious, fresh family meal that's ready when you are and easy on your budget? Welcome to Piara Pizza. We make our pizzas with handmade dough, 100% real cheese, and tomato sauce blended with our own spices. Nothing is ever frozen. We always have large pepperoni and cheese pizzas fresh and waiting for you for only $5. Or choose one of our specialty pizzas. We have veggie, meat lovers, supreme, and Hawaiian. Add an order of our amazing hot wings, cheesy bread, or breadsticks. Our locations are ultra modern, ultra clean, and open 7 days a week. Visit any one of our locations today, or check us out on the web at www.piarapizza.com. Piara Pizza. Fresh, hot, and ready for you when you come in. Stop in for your Piara Pizza today.
Live from the Rant Radio Network,
You're listening to Real Estate Rant with your host, Alex Alanis.
and your co-host, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez.
No problems, just solutions for real estate needs, hot topics, and controversial chat. And we are back here at the Real Estate Rant, here at the towers of the Rant Radio Network, and Mucho Macho Michelada.
At the new Macho,
Dude, you gotta lay off the sauce. I think that's what
at
you
the
gotta
new
do.
Mucho Macho Michelada Mix Studio.
Here
we go.
The new studio. All right, I'm your host, Mr. Alex Alanis, and to my left here, my broker, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez.
Here on this hot, beautiful Wino Wednesday.
The Wino Crossing, huh? In studio today, we have Mr. Zeffirino Luna from U.S. Protection Network, and he's discussing with us what his company does, very specialized field in terms of what does an individual do when they're losing their property or getting foreclosed on, and none of the real estate professionals really have an answer for them that they would want to hear anyway. A lot of people short sell their properties. A lot of folks even let their properties foreclose. But Mr. Z has some solutions for you that you can stop the sale, potentially even reverse a foreclosure and do that kind of stuff. And Z was sharing with us, I had a question before the break. If you're going into a foreclosure reversal and you end up in the same position just to get foreclosed on again, it kind of didn't make sense to me.
Okay. Now this is the part that a lot of people have to explain to a lot of people because it doesn't make sense to them either. But when I lost my property, and I actually felt kind of relief saying my property is gone, I got this problem over with, let me start all over again. It was hard to start all over, especially with no money and nothing in my pocket. So it wasn't easy to rent with 4 kids. Your credit is shocked. It wasn't easy to get a property. So when your property is reversed, it takes about 4 to 6 months. So you're not paying anything in 4 to 6 months. Once your property is reversed and you're fighting for the property back, it could take a year. It could take a year and a half, 2 years after you got the property to do a loan modification. So all those years you're saving on rent, which a lot of people need help right now. They can't pay $2,000. They can't get out here and pay $2,000-$3,000. So if they're in their home fighting and need to have somewhere to keep their kids for now.
Now this may be a trade secret, Z, but I'm gonna ask the question: how do you do a foreclosure reversal?
Well, that is a trade secret.
well, let me read a little article that I read about regarding the reversals, the mortgage reversals.
Please do.
And it says one of the battles that people who are losing their homes, who have lost their homes, have tried to save their homes, is to find legal help. In many cases, they spend valuable resources learning enough law from lawyers to find out what does work and what does not work. And then it goes on to say in this article, and there's actually a website of where there's information of what worked and what happened in cases, in previous cases. And if you know a little bit of law, there's case law. So once there's a case law established, then they're gonna rule by what that case law. So
Correct.
a smart lawyer,
sets precedents.
A smart lawyer kind of will set your situation to previous cases, and he will stand by that to a judge, and he will plead that, and a smart judge will know the ruling and will actually. That's the way a lot of people stay in their homes.
Is there such a thing as a smart judge?
Well, I mean, I think all judges are smart, especially when I'm the one sitting behind, ready to get thrown in jail. He's everything to me. He's smart, he's cute, he's good looking.
I take it back. So, did it give conclusions as to what the case law was?
Well, yeah, and it gave us a lot of it gives a lot of examples. It gives a lot of examples of what homeowners were going through, and the kind of motions that the attorneys filed, and what was done about it. In some cases, like I know I have a friend of mine who used these services, and yeah, like I said, that you get a lawyer. A lawyer is gonna tie it up and is gonna buy you time, which is what a lot of people have. I mean, you get a little too comfortable.
That's what they want.
Sometimes you get a little bit too comfortable. You say, "Well, I don't got to pay a mortgage or rent. I'm living for free." But then the consequence come when the bank actually will negotiate with you and tell you, "Okay, I need certain amount of money, and I'll let you get back, get you in good standing again, and maybe put your back payments in the rears." But if you're the kind of guy that would just say, "Wow, you're living fat off the land," and you weren't saving that rent money that you should have been paying anyway,
PHAT fat, right?
you know, like you say, you should have been saving that money. There's some cases where the people are smart; they know they had to pay rent anyway, so they save the money. So when the bank actually settles with them and actually comes to an agreement, they have that money to pay and move forward.
Yes, yes.
And just to answer Alex's question, there's several different things that determine if you can reverse a property, but two more common is when people are on a modification, the property cannot be sold, and a lot of banks are doing that right now. If you guys are in a short sale, the property cannot be sold because you're in negotiation with the bank, and it's still doing it. And just on those things, we could reverse the property. But there's several other things that are trade secrets that we don't discuss. But
Right
those
on.
two things are, two things that I could tell you that.
I had to ask. I had to ask. Just because I have you here, and I'm able to pick your brain, Z. This is the reason why I ask. Now, in terms of now, let's say I'm a homeowner and I come in. You had mentioned one of your programs where a homeowner, if let's say they just don't have the money. I mean, they lost their job, they're getting divorced, they're doing all these things are happening to them. If there's a way that they can do it, if they have no money.
Correct. It just depends too, because if the homeowner has no money and hasn't saved, like Alonso said, and he's not gonna be able to afford the property after he modifies, and he has to understand that he can't afford the property at all. But if he just went through a rough stage and he's getting back on his feet, we could actually do something about it where we get the property for him and he'll pay us in the back end or something.
Well, I just hope that there's still some attorneys that work like that, because I had a prior experience. I lost a home to one of the attorneys, and after my retainer fees, after paying them over $70,000 in retainer fees, when we were ready to go to court, he tells me your retainer's up, you owe me more money. And what does the attorney go? I got no more money. What does the attorney go? Well, we can do it another way. Just sign over the grant deed to me, and you don't owe me anything.
And
so that's kind of like, what option do you have when you got no more money and you were expected to get legal defense?
And it makes you wonder if the attorney was doing that on purpose.
Well, I know he was definitely making that on purpose. He's seen that equity that home had, and I'm sure he went on to fight it and won it for himself and made a whole lot of money on it. Wow. But that's what that goes with education. You got to pay back those student loans.
Now, a lot of things that we're talking about here, I just wanted to just let the listeners know that we're not attorneys.
Correct.
And because a lot of things that we're talking about can be legal, considered legal conversation.
Correct. And that's what I was about to say. A lot of attorneys, I guess, it's in the Constitution. It says you don't need a degree. I don't need a degree. I don't need to have a law degree or anything. I just need to do the work. That's all. And a lot of this stuff that we do, people can do it themselves. Like he did research and he found out some research, but they don't because they're too emotional, they're too attached to the property, and they don't look at it as business, as the bank or the trustee or the third party does. But a lot of this stuff you could do yourself if you do the research and you just do your homework.
And now with the internet, there's everything is in the internet.
Correct.
Everything you want to learn. And I'm very grateful to one of my professors I had back in college, where he's actually an attorney, and he would actually give us homework assignments that would had to do with case law, and he'll make us research case laws and how to read the articles and all the penal codes, so that we knew where to look for information.
And you ended up in jail anyway?
Nah, knock on wood. I haven't been to jail yet, Alex. Knock on wood.
No, but that's all good information, and I wish I had somebody like that ride me to really help educate myself on a lot of these things. I wanted to show the general public what Z's company puts up on people's doors. I don't know if you can see that, but it says notice to vacate. And when I first saw that, and it actually says Sheriff's Department on the top. When I first saw that, I was like, wow, that's kind of tough. That's pretty serious. You get a notice to vacate put up on your door, right? But on the back side of it now, it says don't let this notice hit your door, right? It's more of a warning.
That comes back to when I look at that, it triggers guerrilla marketing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will be scared to put a sheriff department logo or something that looks similar to that.
Yes.
But like I tell some of the agents, they go by the book, or they work strictly. I go, well, by the time it gets around to you, it's probably going to be a slap in the wrist, and you've already made all this money.
Correct.
So what does it matter? Do it. I'm like, don't get me wrong. I'm not encouraging you to go out and do some fraudulent stuff. But you got to take a little bit of risk and do ideas that work out there, you know.
Yeah. Well, we are running up on time, but you guys do other services.
Correct. We do a lot of services.
What
correct.
kind of other services you guys
we
do?
do handle immigration. We handle. We structure. We have the power to delete anything from your credit. So because we could delete anything from your credit and add anything to your credit, I could actually structure you if you want to open up a business for you to get the funding you need. If you're trying to buy a property, I could structure you so you could buy that property or that car.
Under a corporation
Under
or
a corporation or yourself, however you want to.
So for people with bad credit, that's probably some kind of service that would help them.
Correct.
And these are all legal activities.
Correct,
I mean,
correct.
yeah, these are all things that you found a legal loophole, so to
Correct.
speak, in terms of getting a lot of these things done. So,
And-
so to the listener, you can call Z at 1-800-760-7405, or you can email Z at z@uspn.us. He also has a website at uspn.us. So that seems to be your call sign, USPN.
Correct.
Right? Again, 1-800-760-7405. And we do have a couple minutes left here on the show. So some of the other services you get, now in terms of putting these notices up, the notice to vacate, who are you placing that on?
We're putting on homeowners that already lost their property. It just gives them a little shock, so they can realize, because I guess they haven't paid their property for so many years. They start thinking that they're gonna get kicked out sooner or later. So it kind of shocks them and makes them aware and think, oh, I may get that notice tomorrow or in 2 days, so I better do something about it now.
So these are people that already got foreclosed on.
Correct.
Okay, so so you're like coming after all the real estate agents
Correct.
have come, and after all the other people, the notice of default and then the notice of sale people have already dispersed.
Correct.
You guys come in after the fact.
Correct.
Right
That's what we
on.
do.
And I'll be honest with you, when I first saw this notice, I go, man, that's pretty serious. But it's really just like a trick advertisement.
Correct.
Right?
It is.
So you get a lot of phone calls on these?
I do. I just place them on we go knock on doors. If they're not there, then we place them on their door, and they walk in. Some calls we get them, nice, and some people are mad. They say, "You're nobody to kick me out. You're not the sheriff." I said, "Ma'am, it's a flyer." My cousin's a sheriff. I'm gonna call him right now. I said, "Ma'am, it's a flyer. Turn it around."
And it's kind of funny because we're running a campaign similar to that one. But ours is it looks like a FedEx pickup tag, like you got a package, and it looks, when they put it on the door, and it looks like they have a package to be picked up. And then when they're calling the number, then we're delivering a short sale package,
Oh, that's good.
So that's kind of that, like those kind of.
And that's a good idea, because a
little
lot of
tricks
people
of the
now,
trade.
they don't pick up their flyers, they don't pick up the door hangers anymore.
That's Lehonish.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
we're
Z,
coming on our show, and it was a pleasure having you, Z. Learned
Thank
a
you.
lot.
Thank you, guys.
Could learn more, but
Yes. Z,
unfortunately,
thank
there's
you for joining
alcohol
us.
getting in the way.
Join us next week, same time, same place, Wednesday, 3:30. Real Estate Rant and the Mucho Macho Michelada
At
here
the new Mucho
Towers.
Macho Michelada Tower.
Thanks for tuning in to Real Estate Rant Radio. Make sure to join us every Wednesday at 10 a.m. on the Rant Radio Network, where we talk about solutions to your real estate problems.
The views and opinions expressed by the host or any guest on this show are encouraged to be followed up by a professional tax advisor or attorney, as we are not qualified or authorized to give advice in two areas: legal matters and tax matters.